so much. All right. Welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day and coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Miracle.
Yeah, definitely. So, like, the first thing I want to start asking is, there's a new film coming out that you're part of. You direct the film. What drew you to want to be part of it?
It's a book that it's based on a book that I read about 20 years ago when the book came out. So I was and I loved the book when it came out, and I thought it would be a great movie at the time. And I even contacted the publisher to ask him about the rights, and the rights were taken. So that was that. And then about 20 years later, there's a new production company that has the rights, and they've been developing it, and they approached me with a script for it. So I kind of couldn't say no to it, because I remember the book very well, and I remember liking it a lot. I like the author, and he's kind of the best known Icelandic kind of crime author. And there's only been one other movie made from his book, so that was also a thing for me. I was like, oh, we need to make more movies from his books, So that was definitely another reason. And then it was the genre. It's actually different from his usual novels, in that it's more of an action thriller or action adventure thriller. So it has his books tend to be more of this kind of Scandinavian kind of world. So that was definitely interesting to me, because we have not done a movie like this in Iceland before. So.
Wow. Okay. And for anyone who don't know about the film, can you tell us a little bit about it?
What the story you mean, or what? Yeah, well, you have a regular woman, like an everyman character, so to speak, that gets drawn into this conspiracy, the complex conspiracy thing when there's a Nazi plane that's found on a glacier in Iceland. And sure enough, it's a plane that contains some very sensitive secrets. So there's a lot of people that want to retrieve this plane and make sure that nobody knows about it. And this woman gets drawn into it because her brother is among the people that find it. So that's kind of the setting of the story. So it has like this kind of history sort of background to it.
Sweet. And how did you all wind up finding the great cast for the film? Like I've seen the screener for the film, and the cast is great for it. I really like the film.
Thank you. Well, it's of course a mix of Icelandic actors and then foreign actors. So we had a casting director in Iceland, and then we had another one in the UK. And then it's just a process. You just have to go. You go through a lot of suggestions, and you try to, and then you speak with actors, and you try to find people that somehow fit what you envision for the role, and you're trying to sort of sense from people what they will bring to the table. Also, I think it's as important in a way. Do they kind of relate to it? Will they bring the right kind of feeling to it, and also will they be able to surprise me? So it's a long process, and it's always the most sensitive process and the biggest decision every director will make on every movie. It's the casting. Has to be said.
And I think like the songs for the film have such a huge part in like every movie that makes the movie great. And how did you all like pick the score for the film? Is there like a certain artist you wanted, a certain sound?
Yeah, I mean that was also a process, I guess. with the score, you know, with the stuff that's composed, I definitely looked at a lot of other, you know, like many previous films in this kind of genre with the composer. It's a composer I've worked with a lot because I'm not educated in music, so I have a lot of faith in my composer that I a lot of work with. And he kind of understands it when I explain it, you know, when I explain things in my way, kind of gets it. Yeah, okay, yeah, I think we know what you mean, and he'll bring something, and then slowly we find our way. So I definitely wanted to be like a nod to other films of this genre, and I wanted to be playful in that way. At the same time, of course, have its own flair. So it was actually, so we actually started doing tests before even when I was in the middle of pre-production. You know, he started sending ideas to me, you know, and that kind of fed into my prep, you know, and then when it comes to editing, you sort of start figuring out, oh, this is going to work on this. Maybe we'll take it more this direction and whatnot. But the core of the idea was there, and you know, from the initial dialogue that we had, you know. So that's the thing with the score. And then there's also some commercial songs that we picked, and I wanted those to kind of. I think they're always revealing something about the characters that are in the scenes that, you know, when we so I always wanted to fit with it. I was always like, what kind of is right for this character, you know, what's this person listening to, or you know, we're not listening to necessarily, but you know, what's right for the character. So that kind of comes out of that. Yeah, just and so very often it's just a gut feeling, you know. because music is so weird, because it, like, music always goes, it's not intellectual really, it just goes straight to the heart. So you have to kind of
Oh yeah, definitely.
it hits you, you know, and
You have to feel it.
the feeling, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely, for sure. That's what I love about songs. Like it could put you in any kind of mood. If you're feeling sad, you could listen to it to make you happy. Like it's just, and it's great. I love it.
Yeah, and it can bring back a memory or a feeling that you can't dig up any way else. You know, we have to, you know, something that took place 15 years ago, and you had heard this song, and then you heard it again, and you kind of get some sort of
Exactly.
visual memory or something, you know, and it's
Mhm.
yeah, music is fascinating in that way, you know. I love it. I love it when the music is when score or songs and music kind of, you know, work, you know,
Oh, definitely.
yeah, when they elevate the story really, you know.
And the whole film filmed in Iceland?
Not the whole movie. I think maybe 75% or 70%, something like
Oh,
this.
nice.
And then the rest in Germany, because we had a
Oh,
lot
okay.
of, yeah, we had a lot of funding from Germany. So we shot some in studio, yeah, and in some locations in Germany. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's like one of my trips that I want to do. One of my friends just recently took a trip to Iceland, and he told me
Mhm.
how beautiful it was, and that's definitely on my list for like trips.
Yeah, it's certainly unique.
And was there any scene from the movie that stood out to you the most, like a scene you like most?
Um, well, in terms of filming, it was definitely the whole sequence that takes place on the glacier. I have to, I mean, that's for so many reasons. It was the toughest bit of the shooting, and the most memorable part of the shooting. And then in the movie, it's of course a big part of the flavor of the movie, you know, because it's not only, you know, when we're reaching the climax of the movie, you're always cutting to the glacier every now and then. So yeah, I mean, that definitely stands out. There were, yeah, there's a lot of others. It was just mainly, you know, we had to deal with the elements, the weather, the whole time, and even in the city, you know, it was just it was a tricky one. And then when you go outside of the city and you're in the middle of nowhere and it's February in Iceland, you never know what you're gonna get, and the focus will tell you something and then something else will happen.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it will. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You show up in a location, it's raining, right?
Mhm.
So, okay, it's raining. Fine, that's cool. Rain looks good on camera, so we prepare it in a certain way and we let it in a certain way, and then all of a sudden the rain turns into snow.
Oh
And
wow.
that's a totally different vibe. So you kind of have to make a decision. All right, do we have to scrap it? Can we afford that? Do we have time to come
Yeah.
back, or do we just have to go with it and
Wow.
take that chance, and move quickly. So you very often have to move quickly.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah, and then if you're shooting also in winter, you have a very short window to shoot it in. It's only in the midwinter you have like 4, 5, 6 hour daylight. So it's fortunately there's a lot of places that take a lot of scenes that take place in at night. In in this movie, so it wasn't that big of a problem. But then when you're doing day scenes, exteriors, you have to move fast.
Oh yeah, definitely for sure.
Yeah.
And when will the film be out for everybody to watch?
In the US, it's opening on August 11th. It's been out already in Iceland and in Germany, and then there's a lot of territories coming up now, in Europe and Asia, that are. But I think US is outside of Iceland and Germany, which are kind of the production companies, production countries behind the movie. I think the US is going to be the first one to roll it out now in a few
Oh,
days.
okay. Oh, nice. And
Okay.
last question is, where could fans follow you at?
My Instagram, I guess. I also have a website with that has that showcases my work. It has my full name, oskarthoraxelsson.com.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for taking time out and doing the interview. I appreciate it.
absolutely. My pleasure.